let's kick off with today's topic, which is on the time value of money, right? Which is on the time value of money, all right? Okay. Okay, so the main point is that as we go along, the value of money decreases because of inflation, and there's lots of other factors as well. Okay, the value of money will generally decrease due to inflation, and you may have heard this a lot of times, you know, from a lot of old people that, hey, you know, when we were young, we used to buy, so many kg of rice for only a few dollars. Or they used to say, sometimes I've seen this on Facebook, you know, some people take out an old advertisement from some newspaper, and they say, oh, a carton of beer used to be $12 or something along those lines. All right, and now it's really expensive. So same things apply over here. All right, now in order to demonstrate my particular claim, let us, if you would recall yesterday's problem, the reason why I've switched over to Microsoft Word is because I realized that when we did the problem on the Zoom whiteboard, I can't pull it out from yesterday. I have the video, which I've already uploaded to YouTube. So let me just first give you guys the YouTube link. All right, so YouTube link. Okay, so week 8. Lecture 1 is available at this link, and I will copy and paste this link straight away onto our Viber group. Okay, that's yesterday's lecture, week 8, lecture 1. All right. Okay, guys, and this is already on our Viber group. The link, this link is available on the EE/MM391 Viber group. Okay. Okay, so let's come here. Okay, so we are now week 8, lecture 2. Okay. All right. Okay. So, one of the subtopics is that of the present and future value of money. This is an important subtopic. Okay, the present and future value of money. Okay, what do we mean by this? All right, let us look at the $100. Let's look at the value of $100. Okay, all right, let's make a table. And this is the other reason why I like to use this guy, because he can give me a table, and I couldn't do table in the other one. Right, so let us look at now, in 1 year, and in 2 years' time. So this is the timeline. Okay. All right. That's the timeline. All right. $100, if somebody gives you $100 now, that is now, right? The value of that particular $100 bill is $100, right? So the question is, what is the future value of $100? All right. Okay. Now, obviously, we have to, in order to tackle this problem, right, we have to assume a interest rate, right? Who gives you interest? Well, the bank gives you interest. Now, let me just switch back and explain to you how the bank works, how the banking system works. So I'm going to stop sharing for a short while. I'm going to stop sharing so that I can explain to you. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see me. Can you guys see me? All right. Okay, this is how the bank works. Now, you as an employee, you may be working for something, the government, or working for USP, or you may have your own business. You end up by going to, you receive a particular salary or some money for your services. Let's say if you're a contractor of some sort. Right. Now, what happens is that when you receive your funding for the services which you provided, you deposit that money into a bank, right? So let's say you received $1,000 pay for last fortnight's worth of work. So you've deposited your $1,000 pay into your bank. What the bank does is that it offers you an interest rate of 2%, right? Something very low, 2% or 3%. You'll see that your interest rate is very, very low. Usually the highest interest rate which I've seen in Fiji is 6%, right? But generally when we go and use our salary account, it's only around about 2%. Okay. Now, it takes, let's say there's 1,000 workers, right? So each of those workers is depositing, some are depositing $1,000 as salary for the last fortnight, some are depositing $1,500, some people are depositing only $800, some are depositing $2,500, fair enough. Accumulatively, the bank has now received over the last fortnight, maybe something in the area of $250,000 to $280,000. So one of you goes to the bank and says, hey, I need a loan to buy a piece of land. So what the bank does, it gives you not the full $280,000, but it gives you a loan of $150,000, right? It's received deposits of $280,000, and it's given you one particular customer. Let's say the customer's name is John, right? So it gives Mr. John $150,000 loan, but with an interest rate of 9%. You see where the catch is now. So it's giving a loan with an interest rate of 9%, and banks, all the lending institutions do compound interest. Nobody does simple interest, all right? Simple interest, it used to be present in the previous times, and maybe if somebody is very friendly with you, they can give you simple interest, but generally all the banks do compound. So it's giving you a compound rate of 9%, all right? But then, whose money is it using? It's not using its own money. It's using the money which has come in as deposits, right? the money which has been deposited by its own customers, it then recycles that money and gives it out to some other customer at a higher rate. But you guys, the workers, the working class, which has deposited the money, gets an interest rate of 2% in returns, right? So you'll see in your bank statement somewhere once a year or once every 4 months, they'll say your account has been credited with 23 cents or 58 cents of interest, right? At a rate of 2%, right? But in the meantime, it's charging 9% to some customer who had asked him for a loan, asked the bank for a loan. So the bank makes a spread of 7%. That's a large gap over there, all right? So that's how banks make their profit. Okay, what happens when, let's say, Mr. John, he was unable to pay the loan? What happens then? Can somebody tell me what happens when Mr. John, who took a loan of 150,000, is unable to pay the loan? What happens there, guys? Can somebody mention to me what happens there? Anyone got an idea? Anyone? Come on, guys, participate in this class.
Mortgage.
Yes, who said that? Mortgage.
I did, sir.
Okay, Akish Neil. All right, nice. Yes, all right. So some people are chatting over here as well. Okay, yes, they will mortgage. All right, okay. They will mortgage. So they will take that land, they will put it on mortgage, and they'll sell it on a mortgagee sale. All right. So at that time, let's say 6 months into the loan, Mr. John had paid off a bit of the loan, right? So let's say he had paid off $5,000 from that $150,000. Fair enough. But he couldn't meet, let's say he lost his business, broke down, or he wasn't in good health. These things happen. Or maybe something like the COVID pandemic, it really affected his business and he was unable to pay his loan. So the bank will repossess. The word is repossess. Okay. The bank will repossess the loan, repossess the asset, and then do a mortgagee sale. All right. And they will reimburse Mr. John with whatever he is paid, and they will deduct some penalties and so forth. But Mr. John will get something back in return. It won't be a total loss, but the bank in the end will still make a profit over that piece of land which has been mortgaged, because they will sell it. Remember, the original loan agreement was 150,000, but in that 5 or 6 months, what happens is that the value of the land appreciates. The value of the land appreciates. So they will go and do a mortgagee sale and sell that piece of land for 170,000. So in the end, who's the biggest winner in this case? The biggest winner is the bank. Always remember that in any financial system, the banks always win. The banks will do anything to win. Now, let me give you an unusual scenario. What if there is some economic hardship, like what is happening in Fiji right now and has happened throughout this year, like COVID or something that's a real scenario? COVID affected Fiji very badly. And what happens if a number of loans, let's say a big bank, they gave 1,000 loans to different people, and then out of that 1,000, 900 people came back and said, sorry, we can't pay the loan. So what will the bank do in that case? The normal logic tells us that the bank should go and mortgage, but the bank will be smart. If they start mortgaging 900 properties all around the same time frame, what do you think is going to happen to the value of those properties? Anyone?
It will decrease.
Yes. Why? Why will it decrease? Why will it decrease?
Because nobody will buy the 900 houses at once.
Yes. It doesn't require one customer, but because there's an oversupply on the market, what used to be only 3 properties on the market per week, suddenly if it becomes 3 properties translates to over 12 properties per month. If they start selling 400 or 500 properties per month, they flood the market. What will happen is that it's not one customer, but the value, because there's so many properties in the market, the value starts to go down. There's an oversupply. So what the bank does is it doesn't want to oversupply the market. Because remember, in the first scenario, remember the scenario with John? Remember I said there was a customer, John, buying a piece of land for 150,000, right? When the bank captured or repossessed his land, and then they resold it, they sold it not for 150, but they sold it for 170. So they still made a profit. The bank will be the last guys laughing. They'll laugh all the way home. Remember, the banks are the guys who will always make a profit. Now, in the scenario of our COVID situation, when they realize that, hey, there's too many customers who are going to be surrendering their profit and saying, hey, please take our property back, we can't repay. So what will the bank do? They'll realize, they'll know, they already know this game. They'll say, don't worry, Mr. Customer, we'll give you an extension. We'll give you, instead of repaying the loan in 20 years' time, we'll give you an extension of 5 years. We'll give you, a reduced payment requirement for the next 3 or 4 years, so that you don't have to pay $1,000 a month, but pay $600 a month, right? And then you can pay, instead of paying in within the 20 years, right, you pay in a 25-year term, because they already know that that situation can occur where you have 20, so many customers surrendering their property that the value of the property will go down, and the bank won't be able to make that many sales, right? Yes, so somebody, Hitesh said, give more time. That's what they do. So that's how Fiji, there's a lot of people with loans and so forth, and they survived the COVID crisis because the bank said, don't worry about repayments, we can reduce your repayments, and therefore we can extend the time frame of your loan. So these loans are not usually 1 or 2 year loans. These loans are usually 20-year loan, 25-year loans. They even went to 30-year loans. I know guys who are paying 30-year home loans, right? So you take a loan when you're about 30 years old, and then you finish off by the time you're 60. And then when you're 70, you're dead. So you only get 10 years of free, mortgage-free living, right? So that's how these things roll, guys. All right. In America, what happened in 2008 was there was a flooding on the market of so many loans, so many mortgages getting caught that the prices of properties started to drop, and that's usually affected the banks really badly. And some of the big banks, remember this name, Lehman Brothers. I'll just type it in the chat box. Lehman Brothers, right? This is a big investment bank. They collapsed, right? Then the American government realized that we can't allow the banks to collapse. And what did they do? They went and rescued the banks. Okay. All right. So let's come back to our screen sharing. That was just a side story of how the banks work. So eventually the banks get money from 2 places. Firstly, the bank use the money which has been deposited by you, the customer, your salary, your savings, your gifts, whatever money which you have, they recycle that money by giving it out as land. Secondly, what the banks do is smaller banks go to other bigger banks, take a loan out of bigger banks, and then reloan that out to the customers. That's one way. Or sometimes they go to the Reserve Bank. They go to the government's bank, they go to the Reserve Bank, they take a loan out of the Reserve Bank, and then they'll take a they'll take a loan from the Reserve Bank at, let's say, 3%, and then they'll loan it out to you at 8%. So there's a 5% gap. The spread, they call it the spread, S-P-R-E-A-D, the spread, and then that's where the profit is. Okay, so remember these keywords: spread, mortgage, repossession. All right, so let me just type it out over here. I can type it out in our thing. All right, let me share the screen again. So, but where does the Reserve Bank get their money from? All right, Tavake asked, where does the Reserve Bank get their money from? Well, that comes into the economy. They have to. That's the economy. That's the government bank. The Reserve Bank is the government's independent bank, but they print money sometimes. They're allowed to print money, but generally they get their money from where the economy is getting the money from. So a country like Fiji, or even most of the countries in the Pacific, they'll take a loan. They'll take a loan from someone. So they'll take a loan from ADB, or that's Asian Development Bank, or they'll take a loan from World Bank. So in the end, everybody is in debt. Everybody is in debt. All right. And to be debt free is wonderful. So you would be asking, why would a government need to take a loan? Well, a government has a budget. They have expenditure like salary. They need to build roads, hospitals. They need to pay for the power supply, the water supply. They need to pay for all these particular health services and all that, right? And they have their income. Where does the government income come from? Well, the government income comes from tax. Every time you buy something, you pay VAT, value added tax. If you earn some income, you pay some income tax. So government gets taxes, right? And they make money out of all these taxes. And most of the time, the income is not as much as the expenditure. So there's a shortfall. They call this shortfall the deficit. That deficit is financed by loans, right? Sometimes external loans from Asian Development Bank, from some bank in China, from World Bank, from International Monetary Fund, IMF. So these are the banks. And sometimes internally. Internally from who? From some superannuation fund like FNPF, right? And so forth. Okay, so this is how it's done. Okay, so let's switch back to my Word document. And we were doing a problem. All right, let's see the Word document. There we go. Okay, guys, can you see the Word document? All right. Let's say that our I, lowercase I for interest, is equal to 10% per annum. Unless otherwise stated, guys, if it is not stated, we always assume that the interest is per annum, unless they say per month. Okay, so what is the value of money of $100, all right, in 1 year? So $100 will become, so you call this the future value. Okay, so what is the present value? So we call this $100 the present value. Right? The present value is equal to $100 because this is $100 and it is $100 now. Right? So that's the present value. What is the future value of this $100? Well, the present value, let me give you a yes. Somebody has already answered. It's good. I'm just putting the initials here, PV. The future value is equal to, okay, let me just note this down. Future value. Very simple calculations from our engineering students. That's equals to the principal times 1 plus the rate, which is the interest rate, okay, to the power of time. There we go. Equals, what is the principal? $100, okay. 1 plus 0.1 to the power of 1. So that equals to $110. Now let's look at future value in 2 years' time. FV will equal to, same formula applies, so I'm just going to copy and paste this. That's why I wanted to use Word. Right? But this time around, that becomes 2, and that becomes $121. Right? So what is $100 now is $110 next year, and in 2 years' time, it will become $121. All right. Okay. Another way to question this is, another way of asking this question is, what is the present, what is the present value of $121 offered in 2 years' time, right? So the question here was, what is the future value of $100 in 1 and 2 years' time? And that's the forward way, right? If you go from left to right. So the question over here, this is the question. Let me put that in another color. Okay, is that clear? Can you guys see that? So what is the future value of $100 in 1 and 2 years' time? What, and the other question, the reverse gear question, the same question but in reverse gear. Okay, the same question but in reverse gear is, what is the present value? What is the present value of $121? Yeah, right, offered in 2 years' time, right? So if somebody offers you $121 in 2 years' time, what is the present value? So the way to do it is simply by dividing, right? So over here, if somebody said present value, so all we're going to do is PV in 2 years' time will equal to, we just do 121 divided by, what do we divide by, right? Well, we have to divide by, let's look over here. Let's make, we know already 121. We have to divide by, let me put it in formula terms, guys. Let me give you the formula, right? Present value is equals to the future value divided by, okay? Divided by, let me put that in square brackets. So what do we get over here, guys? So that will be divided by this guy, and then what we get? We get $100, right? Okay. What about if you want to roll it back? So, guys, when we go forward from now, and you want to know the value of some particular fund or the value of money in the future, that's called compounding. If you go from left to right, if you go from right to left, if you go in the reverse gear, so somebody is offering you $121 in the future, right? That's called discounting. If you want to know the value now, okay? Okay, let's do. Let's add some part of the problem over here, and one and 1 year's time. How would we do this one, guys? Okay, so I'll leave some parts empty for you. This is a very simple formula. You roll it back or you discount by 1 year. All right. Okay. Let's now do another example. So this was example 1. Example 1. Okay. Let's look at example 2. Okay. Simple problem again. Your uncle promises you $65 in 1 year's time. What is the present value? All right, can you guys do this for me, guys? Can you, and maybe if you want, you can say the answer or you can put it in the chat box. What is the present value? Same formula applies, guys. What I'll do is all the questions, I'll highlight it in blue, right? If there's an example, I'll try and highlight it in blue. All right, guys, let me have your answer. What do you think it is? Oh, let's assume I equals 10%. Help me out, guys. What do you think is the answer? Anyone? Somebody offers you $65. Right. That's right. Mr. Terence, Tavake, Amit, thank you. Right? They've put in the answer. Yes. So the way to calculate it is the present value is equal to basically 65 divided by 1 plus 10%, right? To the power of 1 year. All right. Okay. And what do we get? And according to Mr. Tavake and all these guys, they say it's $59. At Terence, it's $59.09. Okay, good. So answer is done. All right. Remember, these problems in compound interest and all that will always be in compound interest, right? Present value, future value, these problems will always be dealing with compound interest. Okay. All right. Let's look at some more. Okay. Let's now look at three particular scenarios. Let's do a more more serious problem. Example 3. Your uncle, maybe this time around it's auntie, okay, offers you 3 choices. 3 choices, right? For reaching final year of PE. Choice 1. Choice 1. Okay. Select the best choice. select the best choice one. $100 today. Choice two. Hey guys, it'll be nice if you have your exercise book and your calculator ready. All right. You need your exercise book and your calculator to be with you in order to do this course. All right. Otherwise, you'll start to struggle. Choice two. $110 in 2 years' time. Choice three. $20 in $20 now. Let's mix it up. $50. Now this is in partial. In a set of 3 payments as follows. $20 now. $20 now. $50 in 1 year time, 1 year's time, and $35 in 2 years time. All right. Now, this is the question. And we have to right, guys. Okay. Select the best choice. All right. So let's go over this. Your auntie offers you 3 choices for reaching final year of Bachelor of Engineering. Choice 1, you receive $100 today. That's now, all right? So that's cash in pocket right now. $110 in 2 years' time. So if you look at this choice 2, it seems to be like even better because you receive $110, right? Okay, and a set of 3 payments. Let's set this up. $20 now, $50 next year, $35 in 2 years' time. So let's set this up. 20 plus 50 is 70, plus 35 is 105. Oh, so if you look at it, just from like a thing point of view, it seems from a layman's point of view, the choice 2 would be the best, choice 3 is second best, and choice 1 would be the weakest. All right, let's go ahead and let's calculate this. Oh man, I hope this thing survives. Please bear with me for a few minutes. Oh, this is what I hate. Okay, guys, while my Microsoft Word is trying to do something, what I want to say is, can you assume an interest rate of 5%, right? A nominal interest rate of 5%. Okay. All right. So interest rate of 5%. All right, I'm back. Let me just save this document before I lose it. Okay, I'm back on Zoom. Hang on, let me just share the screen again. Microsoft Word, where is my Microsoft Word? Yeah, share, here we are. Okay. All right. Guys, can you see the screen? Bhavish, Hafiz? Hello?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, nice. Okay, let me just make a table over here. I like this table. Okay, let's now do a comparison. Choice 1. Okay. Choice 2. This is my comparison table. Choice 3. This is the date. This is today, year 1, year 2. Okay. Okay. So what is he offering? He's offering $100. Okay. Now, so that's the value. That's the value. Now let's look at choice 2, guys. Let's look at choice 2. Choice 2 was, so I'll put this in blue because that was exactly what was offered as per the question. He's offering $110 in 2 years' time, right? And over here, choice 3, what was it, guys? $20? What is it? 50 and 35. So this is what the question says. What I've done is I've converted the question into a table. Now, so there's 2 ways to solve this problem. Either we take this $100 and we roll it into the future and find the future value in 2 years' time, or we take all of these and find the present value, roll it back, discount it, and find the present value. All right. Now, we said assume nominal interest rate of 5%. All right. Okay. So what would be the value of this guy here in 1 year's time? All right. In 1 year's time, the future value of this guy will be, if we take the $100, it'll be 100. We just put the formula down just for those of you who are catching up with us now. Right. So that's what I like about Microsoft Word. I can copy and paste. Future value is principal into 1 plus, what is our rate, guys? 0.05, right? To the power of 1, right? What do we get? Someone? What do we get, guys? Help me out. All right, nice. Our friend Terence. Very good. So $105. Let's look at this choice number 1. So we're only analyzing choice number 1 right now. In 2 years' time becomes, according to Terence Chion, is $25, $110, $25. Can somebody confirm that? Is Terrence's calculation correct?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Right. In 2 years, in 1 year. All right. Very good. Let's look at choice 2, guys. Choice 2, well, we can compare over here. $110.25. Choice 2, the idea is to have to bring it into one line. You have to put it in one line, right? So choice 1 and choice 2, we can do a comparison. And it seems between choice 1 and choice 2, choice 1 is better by 25 cents. But what about choice 3? We don't really know. All right. So, two ways to do it. We can roll this back to year 1 as well. So let's roll this back. So present value of choice 2, will be equal to future value, which was 110, divide by this guy here, right? So we are analyzing choice 2, so we're trying to fill all the blocks up. So what do we get? 110 divided by 1.05, which is equal to what? Somebody help me out. What do we get? So choice 2, what I've done is I've discounted choice 2 into year 1. I'm discounting choice 2 into year 1. All right. So what was, yeah, all right. That's correct. That's correct. That's correct. That is correct. Okay. Now, right. All right. Now let's do this one here. Okay. Right, let's do this guy. 105 squared. What do we find in the denominator here, guys? In fact, we don't need to calculate everything. You guys are all engineers. What do we get? Yes, correct. Is that 110 divided by 105? It shouldn't go up, should go down. Yes, there, $99.77. Yes, right. Andy, you need to watch. Okay, let's look at choice 3. 2 ways of attacking choice 3. We go backwards. Let's go backwards, so put it in the same line. So remember when we were comparing choice 1 and choice 2 in second year, and we said, hey, choice 1 is greater than choice 2. Choice 1 was 110, and choice 2 is choice 1 becomes $110.25, and choice 2 becomes $110. So let's now roll this back. All right, let's now roll choice 3 back. Now the way to do it is, this becomes right. You want to look at the present value. Is basically $20, right? We okay with that $20. Where did we get that $20 from? Well, that's the present value, right? Okay. Then let me put it on the next slide. Then we take this $50. You see this $50? We roll it back by, we discount it by 1 year. If we discount it by 1 year, what do we get? Well, we discount that by 1 year. All right. Okay. And we discount the $35 investment by 2 years. All right. Okay. So, do you understand how I got this? Well, basically, this $35 was discounted by 2 years. Can you see the 2 over there? And this $50 is discounted by 1 year. Now, what do we get, guys? Can you give me an answer for that? Anyone? Come on. 98. Okay. Caleb is saying $99.37, and Terrence is saying, okay, yeah, all right. Okay. Amit is saying $99.37. Okay, $99.37. Now, let us do a comparison. See, what I've done here is I have brought it all into the same row for comparison purposes, right? $99.37. Okay, question from Mr. Hitesh. He says, I think we won't have any interest for $35 since it will receive it in year 2. Yeah, so you see what we've done, Hitesh, is that we have to bring all the 3 amounts into the same line, into the same row, right? Into the same time frame. Whether you want to compare it from today's point of view, or you want to compare it from 1 year's point of view, or you want to compare it from 2 years' point of view, all right? Okay, you've got to compare it in the same time frame, right? It must be compared in the same time frame. I want you to note that down, everyone to note that down, right? Now, when we compare it, so $100 now, choice 2, $99.77 now, and choice 3, when it's calculated back, becomes 99 cents, 37 cents now. So this here will become, this will become the best option. This becomes second best, and this becomes third best. All right. So that is the answer. That is the best option. All right. Okay. Second best and third best. Right? Okay. All right. Another way, what is another way of solving this problem, guys? I've shown you one way of solving. What would be another way of solving this problem? Yes, Hitesh said it. Yeah, calculating the future value. Right? Now, how would we calculate the future value? How would we calculate the future value? That would be in this block number 3, in this corner. How would we calculate that future value? Well, basically, the future value will equal to, firstly, we take this $35. Why do we take the $35 as per value? Well, that's because that's the value which is offered. Then we take the $50, right? Then we take the $50 and right, we take that. And how many years has that $50 been given from year 1 to year 2? How many years has it been given? Oh, hey, sorry guys, somebody is saying that the time's up. I believe, do you guys have a lab now? Let me just quickly, right? And then we take the $20 and we do a 1 plus 0.05 to the power of 2, right? And what do we get, guys? Yes, Mr. Amit Kumar, I hope that answer is correct. I'm not checking the answers, I'm just making the problem as we go along, all right? Okay, all right, $109.55. So again, if you compare, even if you compare in this time frame of year 2, you will find that that is the same. You get the same. The best is choice 1, the second best is choice 2, the third best is choice 3. Now, as a further question, and I'm mindful of the time, I think some students are saying another class. Okay, guys, let's finish off now. And the next problem we will do is we will assume an interest rate of 2%, right? And you'll see the answers come out slightly different. Thank you. That's it for today.